Magnum Prime here, and today we're taking a look at Newage Scaramanga, which is a legend scale take on Soundwave. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Okay, here we go. So in terms of accessories, you get an absolute shed load, to be honest, for your money. I think it's pretty good in that respect. So we've got two identical blasters. These are both the same thing. You make them kind of distinct by plugging a grey piece into the end of one of them, and then that becomes the blaster, and the other one you can use as the shoulder cannon. You've got a pointy finger, an eject finger, and then a pair of jazz hands. They're all ball peg attachments. You've got this, which is a light up kind of fake tape cassette. Now, I've put the batteries in, and mine's not particularly bright. It's not as bright as the ones I've seen on the forum. A big shout out, by the way, to Gaseous Clay on TFW for telling me how to open this up, because it is a bit difficult, to be honest. So thanks for that. As I say, it's not as bright as I would have hoped, but there we go. We also get this, which is a kind of effect that you plug onto the hand. I can't remember which episode that's from. It is from something, no doubt, so nice little touch. I'll show all of these at the end rather than kind of show how they work here. I'll do like a photo montage or something like that, because I want to focus on the tapes really. In terms of cassette mode, I think Newage have done a good job of making these functional. So all three tapes are very compact and very rectangular, and they fit incredibly neatly inside Soundwave's chest. So that's good stuff. I think the issue with them is that they don't particularly look like cassettes. They've kind of put a little circular sculpt on Ravage and also on Rumble, not on Laserbeak, to give the impression of tape reels, tape spools, whatever they're called. But apart from that, they don't particularly look like cassettes. So in terms of alt mode, let's start with Ravage. I think he's excellent, to be honest. He's really nicely done. He's got good colours on him. He's articulated at the shoulders and at the knees. The tail moves, as does the neck, and the head is on a tiny little ball peg, which is really great. I wish the neck would lift up a little bit more. He is kind of pointing down, but to be fair, you know, that is a very Ravage-like pose. They've painted the eyes as well. You can see the detail on there. It's pretty good stuff. Laserbeak is all right. He's not as premium looking as I think he could be. I think he could have done with a bit of paint on this top bit. Other than that, he's kind of decent. The sculpt is okay. There's a bit of paint on the wings there. The head is on a ball peg as well, which gives it, you know, quite a bit of articulation. Again, the face sculpt is very, very well done. I think that's good. The big thing about this one is that he's got magnets on the underside, which means that you can attach him to Soundwave's arm. That is a really neat touch. I think that's really impressive. I've got one small gripe with it. I just wish they'd done it so that he could curve his arm around like that. That's a minor nitpick, to be honest, because it's a nice touch. Like I say, I just wish it was on the other side, but there you go. Rumble isn't as good as the other two, to be fair. He looks all right, but he is kind of a bit gappy around the midriff. He's very articulate, as you'd expect. Ball pegs everywhere, and there's even a little joint down on the ankle there to give him a rocker. You've got these which don't detach from the back as blasters. It's a shame, but there you go. That's how they've done it. They've made it work. The rumble effects do come with him. They tab onto his arms. Mine are not particularly secure. They do fall off quite easily, but they have been included. They are there. So there are a couple of little nitpicks with the accessories. Overall, I think these are really good. And like I say, you do get a lot. So 9 out of 10. Okay, so starting at the head, it's on a ball, so it can obviously swivel all the way around. It's got a really good look up and a little tiny bit of down. The shoulders are on ball pegs as well, which are actually visible. We'll come on to that later. So they do allow full rotation all the way around. Got a good extension out to the side. The arms have got a bicep swivel and a double elbow as well, so that's really good. The wrists, or hands I should say, are all on ball pegs, so they've got a really good range. Rotate, and they've got a bit of movement there as well. Down at the waist, you've got a full waist swivel all the way around and a really, really good ab crunch. The legs, you've got a singular hip skirt at the front, one big lump. Moving that forward will allow you to get a full extension out to the front. You can also get full extension out to the side and nearly out to the back. There is a little bit of kibble collision back here. The legs themselves have got an upper thigh rotation, the knees have got a 90-degree bend, and then down at the feet you've got a really good ankle rocker but no toe tilt. So the posability on this thing, or the articulation, is near perfect actually, really good, 9 out of 10. Okay, in terms of comparisons, here he is with Newage Megatron and Newage Starscream. I think this looks fantastic, to be honest. I think Newage just make cracking figures. Yeah, there's a couple of aesthetic things and bits to point out, but overall, I just love the quality and build of these figures. And here he is with Magic Square's offering. We've got the original voice ripple on the left and then the metallic version in the middle. Yeah, there's a lot to say about these, definitely. I'm going to do the comparison video, but there we go. That's how they look. And here he is in a shelf full of Legend scale figures. We've got a proper mix of Magic Square and Newage there. Yeah, he proper fits right in. I think he looks fantastic. I think the whole shelf does. There's some more up there as well, and some boxes. Oh gosh, there's too much stuff. But yeah, he is proper at home on that shelf. And to think, you know, I didn't have any Legend scale figures at all until I got the Magic Square Soundwave. So that kicked all this off for me. And I think they're absolutely brilliant. I think Legend scale, third party, G1, bah, that is definitely where it's at for me. Brilliant stuff. So I think Newage have done a cracking job in terms of producing a good representation of Soundwave here. If we bring in the G1 Toon, you can see they've got, the proportions are down without a doubt. Yeah, there are a couple of aesthetic niggles, which I'll come on to in a second, but overall the proportions and the look are very, very good. In particular, the face sculpt, which I think Newage do a cracking job on generally, it really makes a figure, really makes the difference for me, and I think that they've nailed that on this one. In terms of the colour, I think that's far too dark. It could have done with being a shade or two lighter. It would have improved it. It would have just made it pop a little bit more. That might be a personal thing for me. I don't know, but I just find it a little bit too dark. Cleanup wise, there's nothing too much out of kilter from the front, but there are a couple of little niggles across the figure where things could have been done slightly differently, and it would have just improved the premiumness, I think. So you've got these blue knee hinges here. I think they should have been painted grey because it just breaks the sculpt of the leg down there. Similarly, you've got these big gappy cutout joints here on the side, which just, you know, all of this stuff, it kind of adds up a little bit as you kind of turn the figure around. You've got a gappy backpack and a gappy nappy down here at the back. Visible buttons, they could have been tucked up or turned away or something like that. A big gap on the side of the arm. And you've got visible ball pegs, which I don't think... there's no excuse for it, in my opinion. There, I'll say it. They could have been covered up. You know, it's a premium kind of expensive Legends figure, this. I think visible ball pegs are a no-no. You've got the shoulder cannon is too far forward, and that's because it's the same piece basically as the blaster. If they'd have put a little slider on to make it kind of stick back, it would have been better. Now, those are kind of some niggly bits, but as I say, they kind of add up across the figure for me and just detract a little bit from the look. Overall, it is good, it is great, but there are a couple of things I think could have been done differently. Final score and presence, 7 out of 10. So in terms of paint, Newage have done a cracking job on this figure. It's like a mini masterpiece. It's really well applied. There's not a blemish in sight, and it's proper premium stuff. You've got a really nice metallic finish on the blue. You've got very vibrant yellow up on the chest and down on the legs. And some of this is painted onto the blue plastic, which is really difficult to do without any bleed through, but they've achieved it. You've got nice metallic reds where they should be. The legs down here, these are even painted as well, which, you know, some other companies might leave these uncovered, but Newage have put a coat on there, and it matches as well with the grey that's painted onto the blue. So top-notch stuff. Everywhere's good, apart from the shoulders, which bizarrely they've left without a coat of paint on, and it's quite a strange choice because everywhere else on the figure is so premium, and once you see that, it's difficult to unsee. So I'm not quite sure why they've done that, but there you go, a little bit of inconsistency there. Build wise, the figure is fantastic. It's made of really good plastic. You've even got die cast down on the feet, which for a legend scale figure I'm pretty impressed with, to be honest. The joints are all very good. The only one I think has got a little bit of an issue is this elbow here. It's very loose and floppy until you kind of snap it into place as part of the transformation. There's a little pin joint there that you have to really clink in, but even once you've done that, it is still a little bit loose. I'm not quite sure how well it's going to hold up over time. For now it's okay, but you know, that might be something to watch. So overall the quality is very good, just a little bit of inconsistency, shall we say, on the elbows and the shoulder. So 8 out of 10. So in terms of transformation, I think it's really well designed and engineered, like a lot of New Age products, to be honest. I think the way that the legs work in particular is very clever, it's very intricate, and whoever designed it, I think, is frankly a genius. So proper hats off to them in that respect. I think most of it works well. I wouldn't say it's intuitive. Like I said, the legs are quite complicated, but once you know what you're doing, it's absolutely fine. I think critical points for me are probably around the arms and the shoulders. So these sliding mechanisms on the arms that I mentioned, I don't think they work particularly well. It's an odd choice. And also the way that the shoulders, the way that they mount onto the body, they're fine when they go to alt mode, but when you're going back to robot mode, to clip them into here with that double hinge at the back, it just doesn't tab in very securely. And then this piece that covers the head, I think ideally that would have tabbed in. It just feels a little bit, it's a little bit frustrating, to be honest, to just sort of have it sat there in both modes. But other than that, I think overall this is a very well designed and well engineered transformation. 9 out of 10. So in terms of the actual alt mode, I really like it, to be honest. Yes, it has its flaws, and I'll come on to that in a second, but in terms of the positives, it's got a good brick-like feel to it. It feels chunky, even though it's such a small thing, and that's principally because of the engineering. It's designed so well to kind of tab everything into place. There's no hollowness. Yes, there are kibbly bits, and you can see those. I don't think you can get away from that, to be honest, with something this small, but the fact that it all chunks into place gives the feel of a tape deck. It gives the feel of chunkiness. Critical points, you've got some panel kind of bits, as I've mentioned, some kibble, but the real biggie for me are these exposed ball pegs on the top. I think they're unnecessary. They could have been covered, and also if this just tabbed in a bit more securely, it would have meant you had kind of a really good look from the front, decent look from the sides and the top as well, which is kind of crucial for this as an alt mode. Looks wise, I mean, it looks sensational. The paint really kind of does give it that premium look in this mode. It really pops. It looks really fantastic. Obviously you can open the tape deck as with robot mode. Why would it be any different? So you know, you can pop the tapes in there and that kind of thing. Just very quickly, we'll bring in the metallic version of the Magic Square. I'm going to do a full comparison of these two, so we'll do a proper side by side, but I just thought I'd show that off just now. But yeah, overall this is a really, really good alt mode. 9 out of 10. So there we have it. Adding it all together, he gets a final score of 8.5 out of 10. And this is a great figure. It's a great release. I think he's got good engineering, good fun transformation, great posability, and a good premium finish. He's got good presence. There are some aesthetic niggles with it, definitely. In particular, the ball pegs on the top of the shoulders and the way those things work. They were unpainted as well. I think there were just a couple of things that could have been done slightly differently with this figure, and it would have just made it so much better. Now, the big thing with this, the sort of shadow looming in the background against this release, is of course the Magic Square. They got theirs out first, and in particular they got that metallic edition out first, because that thing really is a mini masterpiece in terms of presence and look. Whereas this one is not quite there, but it does have so much going for it. I absolutely love it. I'll be keeping this, definitely. I think it's brilliant. The fact that you got all 3 cassettes that you want with it, I think that's a good choice on their part. A little bit of an up on the pricing to fit those in, but I think it's worth it. All round, good set. I think it's great. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. Take care, please subscribe, and bye for now.